This is Love Life with Eve. Welcome home to Eve's Eden. So we need to be able to comfort women at this time. I know you guys must feel like you want to reach out when you see me crying like some of you did. Thank you so much for reaching out. And that's really what matters, is us coming together. Our hearts as one community, no matter who we did or didn't vote for. But there's some things that will help you comfort women if you're a little bit more aware of where we're coming from, how differently this whole election of Trump impacts us women. Okay, so one friend of mine who basically did nothing but put down Hillary during her election and then voted Green Party, insisted that he had voted for a woman and he voted for the Green Party, sent me a little poem about the divine feminine and the wild feminine. So the way this impacted me was not at all comforting like he had hoped. The feeling I had was that it was so out of touch, so hypocritical, when here we have the planet's balance. We have a couple of years to tip the tide so that we can save the planet, and we have a woman who's Hillary, ready with a huge plan for billions of dollars to be spent on getting off of fossil fuels. So he votes Green Party to a woman who has no power, no plan, and no ability to help. And he says, I voted for a woman, but he didn't vote for the woman who would have won. And then he sends me this thing about the wild feminine. So the wild feminine, the thing about the wild feminine is guys will romanticize this idea. Oh, she's the sexy one. She's the one we're trying to bring out so she'll have more sex with us. No, the wild feminine, that's not who she is. She's the woman who's on her own terms. So let's talk about wild feminine for a minute, okay? So the wild feminine, in the story, you have the hero's journey, right? And he's always goes into the forest, and somewhere along the way he meets the hag who's in tatters and is scary and smells bad, and this woman always has something she offers, something she asks for, something she needs, and it's how the hero interacts with the wild, scary woman that either gives him the magic beans or the invisible cloak, or takes him the next step because he listens to her wisdom, right? So my feeling is that my wild feminine was completely ignored by this person. He didn't take in anything I had to say, and then the thing is, what men do that really disturbs women is they get so into their head about their ideas about themselves and their ego and their identity and their heady idea of doing the right thing that they are out of touch with the body. Okay, so for me, my body and the body of the planet are all that matter right now, not ideas of standing up for the Green Party or making your statement about Hillary and how she was involved with war tactics, which of course she had to be in the jobs she was doing. She was in the war room, and we don't know the complexity she faced. We have no clue when she's looking at every country and all their dynamics and histories what the decisions are really about. You know, we simplify this. Oh, she voted for this and that, right? But look at her record over time. It's always about women and children and the underdogs and the ethnic minorities. Okay, so my friend, he's on and on about the wild feminine and trust her, and I am getting so disenchanted. I am getting so disgusted because Trump puts out that he is a pussy grabber, misogynist, willing to sexually assault women. He's a criminal in his business dealings, open about having stolen from all of his workers, and 17 women testifying rape, including one of them who was 13 at the time. This is my body's safety. See what I mean? Like the woman's world, it's about get out of the head, get to the physical level. Are we feeding the children? Are we feeding the planet? Are we including the whole family of the rainbow? So that was a disaster. That didn't work to comfort me. Okay. Next guy tries to comfort me. He's a Buddhist, and I don't even know how he voted, but it could have easily been that he forgot to vote, because really in the end, non-attachment is what matters. And he was like, just be non-attached. It's all okay. That was such a bad way to start. The moment Trump was winning, I get this non-attachment little pious little message thing. The whole reason that Trump won is because of this non-attachment illness, where people didn't engage. They didn't engage with politics. They didn't use their minds. They didn't research. They didn't read. They didn't really listen to more than a couple of snapshots here and there. They went on gossip and the propaganda that was put out on the internet. So don't tell me, the solution is to be non-attached, okay? My solution right now, I need to be held like my African-American business coach. We just hung out together and basically talked about how terrified we both felt. We just feel it, like face it. This could be the end of everything we've worked for 50 years in terms of the human rights. And I don't mean the very end. I mean the beginning of a revolution, if that should. But I don't want to be in that revolution. I've told you. I just want to fight. I want us to get off of fossil fuels and save the planet. That's all. Let's stop caring about our rights as humans anymore. We've taken advantage of all of our rights, haven't we? We've completely, been self-centered. What's another one? Another friend of mine, okay, he is a Catholic, Latino. His message to me was about God the Father, but because he had voted for Hillary, had been supportive of her the whole time, very supportive of me, and respectful of my thoughts, when he sent me a message of God the Father, I felt that there was something in it for me, that's the kind of father energy I need. I need that kind of protection that is really looking out for women, that listens to women. So I didn't mind. He was actually encouraging me to follow my heart and my connection with the divine, no matter how people criticize me. So that message worked. That was helpful. But another friend of mine who's very intellectual, once again, very much in his head, all about being a radical. He did nothing but defame Hillary the whole time. I think he might have voted for her, but he did nothing but put her down nonstop, undermining her campaign constantly. So he sends a message that is about how he wants to spread light and peace and Jesus' blessing. Okay. Please, Jesus' blessing for me, a woman, okay? Understand that for women, the word God has been used to enslave us, to take away our rights in the home, to make us slaves of our husbands, to tell us we have to do what men say. Jesus and the whole Christianity thing was used for the Inquisition, to burn all of the women healers at the stake and terrorize us from then on into not trusting our connection with nature and the Divine Mother. And those tactics ever since in the church, Jesus has been used to make us women slaves of the husband. And then it's used to, annihilate the Native Americans, enslave the African Americans, Holocaust on the Jews, totally destroy and annihilate the Tzotzil Indians of Guatemala, on and on. You send me a message about Jesus right now? You think I want Jesus in my energy field? You might think that it's separate. Oh, Jesus is separate from everything that was done in his name, but I'm sorry, not to me. Everything in his name, that's his legacy. I'm not interested in the guy. I don't care if there was a couple pious, nice words. Be nice to your neighbors. Oh, yeah. Anybody can say that, okay? That's not such a divine message. Oh, he healed somebody's eyesight. Okay, I know a lot of healers right now who've done miracles in their healing practices. I don't think he deserves so much worship to destroy nations in his name or whoever's name, the Godfather guy. Do not think that God is anything less than a swear word to an aware woman, okay? all of these religions, all of them based on destruction, dissemination of the feminine, her femininity, her sexuality as evil and sinful. I am waking up. I am waking up to goddess mother love. If there's a god and it has a gender, it's got to be female because everything comes from a yoni, okay? But in my heart, everything is love. It's gender free, okay? So don't even give me your fucking crap about God or Jesus. Oh my God, how could you be so foolish? You guys would think you're so aware. You are so out of it when it comes to women. And the trouble is, you guys are like the really smart, intellectual, educated white guys who say that you're all for women's rights, and you are the worst to me at times. You couldn't even give one chance to this woman possibly being the savior. This savior just come at the right moment in history with every skill possibly needed to combat any situation on the entire planet in the palm of her hand. You couldn't face it. So what you did is, because she comes, the wild feminine comes, right? And she comes not as a princess, that you can just disassociate from and dismiss because she's so pretty. Not as a wild, sexy vixen you can dismiss because she's so sexy and she's a sex subject. She doesn't come as a bitch or anybody. She just comes as an elegant, well put together woman, ready to take the helm. And the trouble is, she looks like you. She's dressed in a clean cut way. She looks conservative. And so the men think she can't be trusted, because we know ourselves as men, when we were up in there taking all that money, we sold out. So that means she will. So you projected your garbage onto her and believed it, and then disenfranchised her. And now, of course, what do we get? The ultimate male chauvinist pig. That's who we get, because you guys couldn't stand up for us women for the reality of all it took was belief and trust in the feminine, which is what's been missing, guys. It's been missing. And you know what? I hope that things get bad enough that you will finally start to look and say, women can be trusted. Women deserve to be in power because they are different. Yes, a few women were not, who got into power because, think of it, over centuries, you have the only women who can get in a whole room of guys constantly and be allowed to speak at all. They have to look like a guy, act like a guy, and basically be a guy within, right? But for women on their own terms to be feminine leaders, it's very hard to get into politics and maintain that energy all alone. And they say how a woman alone in a room with the guys, no one listens. They just overtalk her. Two women, they still overtalk, but the two women can reiterate what each other has said. Three women, everything changes. If there's three women in the room, no